Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Losing Your Parents International Radio Show. My name is Lisa A. Snyder. I lost both of my parents to cancer at 22 and 27. I now work to inspire others on my blog, losingyourparents.org, and journey through my own grief healing process using creativity and self-expression. My intention is to connect those of us who have lost our mothers, our fathers, or both parents at any age through the arts, life experiments, looking inward, and turning pain into something positive. So let's talk about some stuff that's hard, ways that you can move forward in your life, and how to get back to a happier place. Happy Wednesday to you. This is my official third show. I'm super excited to be here with you today. I've got people from all over the world listening, and I'm so excited to that we're all on this journey together. So last week, I talked a little bit about I had an upcoming interview with SLAPD, SLAPD.com, and that stands for Surviving Life After a Parent Dies. That interview actually got moved to today. So I will be talking with them and a little bit about SLAPD. Genevieve, who's a young woman who started the site, she lost her dad as a young teen and has put the website together to help other young folks deal with the loss of a parent. So when that interview comes out, I'll definitely be posting that on my blog, losingyourparents.org. So today's episode is What the Hell Feelings? This episode I have pre-recorded, but I will be hanging out with you and experimenting with the chat room for the next half hour. You can also tweet me at Losing Parents. You can write me on facebook.com/losingyourparents if you have any questions or comments, and you can chat along the way. I will not be taking any calls today, but if you do want some advice, again, if you want to comment about a previous show or blog post, you can actually leave me a voicemail. That voicemail number is 626, if you're worldwide, it's 1-626-671-LISA, and that's 5472. So it's 626-671-5472. And so you can leave me a voicemail if you have a question or you want any advice. You can do that anytime, 24/7, and I'll get the message. There's also a disclaimer about like how it may be used in a podcast or whatever, but you can learn more about that there. You can subscribe to my blog, losingyourparents.org, by going to the website. You can also subscribe to this radio show on blogtalkradio.com/losingyourparents. I'm just going over all the ways that I'm accessible to you. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/losingyourparents, and then again, you can tweet me today while we're on the air at Losing Parents, or write me on the Facebook page, facebook.com/losingyourparents. So in this episode, we all have them, but a lot of us ignore them. I'm going to talk about feelings and strategies for noticing the fact that you have them, a lot of them, and we'll just start there. Talking about feelings today, men, women, old, young. Talking about feelings because I actually think, and I'll be talking about feelings a lot, and I think this is one of the most challenging things about being human, is feelings, because what are they? They are energy coming from a thought. They're energy, and a lot of them come from thoughts that you have. You might feel, wow, I don't know how I'm feeling right now, but I just know my chest hurts, or I don't feel very good. I feel uncomfortable, like we know what happy feels like, but when any other feelings happen, we don't know what to do with them, and then we stuff them down. We pretend that they don't exist, and that's actually kind of crazy. It's actually kind of crazy because they do exist. They exist for every single human being on the planet, feelings.
But we have feelings, and most of us don't know what to do with them. So, again, this will be a reoccurring theme throughout my show and throughout my blog. And the work that I do is working with feelings. And so, grief, I think, is a feeling, but it's also a journey. Grief feels like crappy. Grief feels crappy. Grief feels low. It feels like in the pit of your stomach. It feels like it's a slow moving slug inside. Your heart can feel heavy. You can, take a breath and you're breathing very heavy, and the thoughts that you have are missing someone, lack of something, lack of this person, lack of the feelings, lack. That's what you're feeling, is lack. I don't have anymore. Whatever it was, it is not. It is no longer. And coming to this place, and you'll hear me breathing a lot like this, is because that's how I move through emotions sometimes, is just taking a deep breath and letting it out, because it's actually just energy. It needs to come, it needs to go. And that's actually part of doing work on your feelings, is letting them come in. And a lot of us pretend like they don't exist. We don't let them in at all, and instead we distract ourselves with anything and everything we can think of so that we don't have to feel. And that could be cigarettes, a drink, going on Facebook, texting someone, cleaning. You probably know, or maybe you don't, how you distract yourself from feeling. Maybe this is awakening for you. This is an awakening for you. This is a moment to be like, wow, how do I distract myself? Because that's part of waking up from, and moving forward in your journey to moving forward without your parents, without your mom or your dad, is how do I distract myself from feelings? And maybe it's just starting there. Maybe it's just noticing, wow, I'm going out for a cigarette right now. Why am I doing that? Oh, it's because I'm feeling uncomfortable. Okay, great. If that's as far as you get with your awareness, that is awesome. That is one step forward towards becoming the kind of person who can move through challenging times and move through them quickly, instead of waiting 40 years to feel something. You'll have felt it maybe a year later, maybe a month later, maybe a week later, maybe a day later, maybe an hour later, maybe a minute later. That has been actually my journey, is that I wasn't always capable of feeling feelings. In fact, it's one of my biggest challenges, honestly, is saying, wow, I'm feeling something. I still don't know how I'm feeling sometimes. Sometimes I'll just be like, wow, I am just feeling so uncomfortable. I'll think about it and I'll feel it and I won't know what to do, because actually I think that's another huge problem. It's once you recognize that you're actually feeling something uncomfortable, what do you do with that? So do you put it in a box? Do you pretend it doesn't exist? Do you distract yourself? Do you go smoke a cigarette? Do you drink? Do you go for a run? Maybe you do something healthy. That's actually a healthy outlet to feeling something uncomfortable, is actually movement. So what am I feeling right now? It's you have to ask yourself that question. What am I feeling right now? Wow, okay, so maybe you don't have words for feelings. That's okay. But it's just noticing that you're uncomfortable. So maybe that's just the language you use. Wow, I'm uncomfortable. You don't have to attach to what does uncomfortable mean, angry, whatever. Maybe you are feeling angry. Maybe sadness masks anger. That's actually what happens with me, is that I don't really freak out about stuff, but I'll get really sad. And that's a mask. That's for me a lot of times. Sometimes it's just, oh, I'm feeling sad because I'm grieving or whatever. But sometimes for me, I don't know the difference sometimes, but sadness is masking anger. And so what is anger? Anger is information. It's a very powerful energy, and it is information about something that is just not working for you. Either it's something that you can, actually, a lot of time it's stuff that we can't control, like somebody's doing something, somebody's saying something, somebody said something. Something makes you feel angry, and you just, you can't take it anymore. Whatever it is, I could do a whole bunch of shows about anger. So coming back to the feelings, coming back to saying, wow, I'm feeling uncomfortable. And so I actually just dropped Catherine off at the airport, and she's going back to New Jersey for a week for her cousin's wedding, and I'm going to be there, and my birthday is coming up, and anyway, I'm going to see her in a week, but it's been a while since, like, we've been apart for a week. And I noticed as I was driving away from the airport, I was, like, feeling some grief, and I was feeling some sadness, and I'm like, I'm going to see her, and I'm going to, find my way. Like, I'm pretty independent, and I've lived alone for years, and, like, we live together now, but, like, in the past, I've lived alone, and I've enjoyed my own company, and I have a half brother, but we grew up mostly different lives, and he, I feel like I grew up as an only child. I was the only child of my dad. We shared the same mom, different dads, and so I spent a lot of time alone growing up, and actually Catherine did too, and that's one of the things that we have in common is just like this only child sort of energy about us where we can just sort of be alone for hours and it's all okay. We can be next to each other for hours and not talk, and that's fine, like that's okay. We could be in our own offices for hours being alone, or spend the whole weekend like doing our own thing, and that's all okay. So I'm trying to pull myself back to where I got off on this tangent that is connected. It all comes back to feelings and feeling uncomfortable, and finding like the pinpoint of like accepting that you have a feeling, like, and sometimes it's stepping away from whatever you're doing. I actually like to take like a moment in the bathroom, like, because you can close the door and be away from other human beings and just take a moment. Whether you're going to the bathroom or not, that's a different story. But like, I kind of just like to sit on the toilet and like think, and just be alone for a moment and breathe and and take a nice big breath, and something happens. Like, that is actually probably the easiest way to just snap out of a little bit of discomfort. You may still have the same feeling that you did before, but it'll be de-energized. And if you think about emotions are energy, they are a buildup of energy, and you have to release them. They have to go somewhere. Otherwise, they will be stored away and stored away and stored away. Kind of like, I heard this in a workshop I went to once, kind of like if you've ever been to a cafeteria or like a buffet where they have those plates that just get stacked and you pull one up and another one comes up and you pull one up and another one comes up. This is where I learned about the Sedona method, which I'll talk about in a future show, and I do talk about on my blog, and you can look up my blog, losingyourparents.org, and learn more about the Sedona method. It's a method of moving through feelings. So, step one, feeling uncomfortable, feeling something. Take a step back, step outside, go to the bathroom, go for a walk. Take a moment, even just close your eyes if you cannot do any of those things. Close your eyes and just be like, breathe in, breathe out. And you can do that a couple of times, and you'll notice you're going to feel different. it's not going to be as heightened as it once was 5 seconds ago, which is cool. How awesome. You don't have to constantly be uncomfortable. This life is not about being constantly uncomfortable. It's just not. And then we learn to be uncomfortable constantly. And that's normal. And isn't that weird? Isn't that strange that we're just like, oh, uncomfortable is just the way we're supposed to be? Like, not if you can help it, like, not if you have control over yourself. And a lot of us think we don't. We think our brains, like, are just who we are, and our feelings are who we are. It's actually, and one of my favorite authors is Eckhart Tolle, and The Power of Now changed my life. But I've listened to it, I'm not even kidding you, like 70 times. That sounds crazy, but not every single section in the audiobook is listened to 70 times. There's some things that I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that again. It's kind of like my little Bible, my little like spiritual Bible. Which, by the way, I'm not attached to any one religion. I just want to put that out there. I'm not attached to any one religion. I grew up in a Catholic and Jewish household. My dad was Jewish. My mom's Catholic. I guess they chose to raise me Catholic, although at some point in time when I was like 13, I had a choice if I wanted to go to school to be Jewish and transition, and my dad said something about it. I'd have to go to school for 7 years, and I was like, no way. But I never felt comfortable, like my place was in church or something, and that's okay. If that's your place, that's cool. I'm not going to diss or put down any religion ever. I will talk about them sometimes. I'll give my opinion sometimes, but my role here is just to like give you information of like things that I've learned in my life, losing my parents, and then something you can, just a piece that you can take away with you so you can move forward. Like that, I feel like is like part of my life's work, is to help other people move forward. I do it with my web work. I do it with my emotional work here with losing your parents. And I just feel, and I thought about this at the festival that I go to every year, Michigan Women's Music Festival. I am a fork in the road, pointing people to where to go. And it is their choice whether or not they want to take it. But the road that I'm pointing to is always the right one. Like, it's always the road not the right one, I shouldn't say that. It's the one they need to be on. I am a guide here. Like, that is what I am doing here. And when people don't listen, that's totally up to them. It is their choice to not listen. But if they want my advice, I get very clear directions. If I have clarity about which direction to go in. What stops me from being able to deliver that information is people who are resistant, people who are angry, who have energy around them that's angry, people who are skeptical. They're all people that will not receive that information they need to, and therefore it just bounces off of them and just goes somewhere else. And they have to repeat the same patterns and lessons again and again and again and again and again. And they wonder why, when they're like on their deathbed, they're like, oh, why didn't I learn that lesson? It's because of stubbornness. It's because of not listening to other people, not taking in other information and being like, and reflecting on it and being like, wow, how can I use that? Maybe someone gives you advice and it's not that exact advice that helps you, but it's like 4 sentences they said, or 1 word that they said, or whatever it is. It's just something. You can always take something out of what somebody has said and apply it to yourself. And if you want to do the work on yourself to like move forward in your life, if you want to get in touch and move forward, I think that the worst thing in the world and the worst feeling is feeling stuck. and we all feel stuck at some point, and at some point we unstick ourselves, and then magically we're moving forward in life. So what unstuck you last time you got unstuck? What was it? Something someone said? Something you did? That's probably it. The action that you took to unstick yourself was probably what did it. So you have to know that you have the power inside of you to make change happen drastically. You have the power inside of you to do anything you want. And I know you hear that sometimes and you're like, yeah, right, whatever. I can't do anything I want. I can't even leave my bedroom. I can't even walk down the street and not feel anxious. I can't go to a party and not feel sadness. I can't go to my friend's mom's birthday because I think about my mom. It's these things. It's these things that you have to remember there's a voice inside and there are voices outside, and the voice inside may not feel totally sane. There's a difference between your brain talking to you and your heart talking to you. There's a difference between your brain talking to you and your intuition talking to you. And when you let your brain do the talking, you cannot hear your intuition. Your intuition is there to guide you. Your intuition is animal instinct. So when you think about the voice in your head, missing your parents, don't want to go places, feeling anxious all the time, don't want to talk to people about my feelings, don't want anyone to know I even have feelings, take a step back. I don't know what that looks like for you, but what it looks like for me, going for a walk, taking a deep breath, taking a moment in the bathroom by myself, closing my eyes, to clear the mind from chatting too loudly so you can't even hear yourself. And another thing that chats loudly is feelings. And the feelings are not actually chatty. The mind is chatty. But the feelings are a flow. They are an energy flow that comes and goes, and they get more and more energized the more thoughts you have. So something that you can do for yourself is just notice. Turn the light on. Say, wow, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Or I'm feeling happy. Maybe you're feeling happy, and my God, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Happiness, joy, that is what we all strive for, and that's where you can get to. It is not an umbrella of everlasting joy and happiness. It is moments that you need to be grateful for. So if you're in a place where you're feeling wow, I'm overwhelmed, whatever it is, breathe, notice. The next step, if you feel wow, okay, cool, Lisa, I know his feelings all the time. I know what they are. I can tell you right now how I feel. The next step is actually saying and welcoming them. So when you notice them, you have to welcome them in. You have to say, okay, feeling, fine. You want to be angry? Be angry for right now. You may want to do it in a safe space. You may want to do it alone. You may want to do it on a walk. You may just want to be in your body and just feel it. You don't have to be alone. Maybe you have a friend that you feel really comfortable talking to and be like, wow, I'm feeling really angry right now, and you can just be yourself. Isn't that a beautiful thing? We have people in our lives you can just be yourself. There's nobody else that you need to be. I love those people. They are rare gems, people who don't try to force you into a box, try to pretend like you are somebody who you're not, try to make you comfortable, make you something so that they're more comfortable. Those people are not your people. People who try to make you something that you're not. That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother show. I obviously have some feelings. Listen to me. Oh, is this part of this? Yes. Is this part of this, me processing feelings? Yes. I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it out loud. It's a little bit more like, wow, I'm putting myself out there, feeling stuff for the whole world to hear. But you know what? I'm doing it because I feel like it's going to benefit at least one, hopefully more people, but at least one person will come away, and that's what I think about. It's like, if someone hears me just talking out loud and saying the things that are true for me, it could be true for them. You know, it could resonate for them. It could give them some kind of tool to like move forward in their lives so that they're not constantly missing their parents, constantly in a state of sadness, constantly in a state of anxiety of what am I going to do, you know? I know that you, if you're listening, you have either lost a parent, you've either lost both parents, or you know somebody who has lost a parent, or maybe you've lost somebody else, and you can apply these things. Either way, it is, I'm here for you, is really what I want to say. I'm here for you. And, you know what happens when I get all quiet like this is that I realize that I'm on a tangent, and then I'm like, no, this is this is relevant. Or I become self-conscious of the fact I'm constantly clearing my throat. Don't think I don't know that. It just happens. And it's something that it's kept me from talking out loud, and I am trying to overrun that and be like, whatever. Yeah, I clear my throat a lot. And it happens. And, you know, hopefully y'all can deal with it. And if you can't, then okay. Turning the light on a feeling, noticing discomfort, noticing, I was talking about going to the next level of letting it in. So you have to welcome it to be there, for it to be able to go away. And that's actually part of the Sedona method, which again, I highly recommend going to my website, checking out the sidebar with the Sedona method and clicking on it. I talk a little bit about how it's helped me move forward in my life. And especially with emotions. Now, I'll tell you right now, I haven't read the whole book. I just read the first, chapter, and I also went to a workshop where we did it all the time, and I also had a friend who we practiced with, and all of those things, made everything different for me. Just, if you've ever noticed, you don't feel the same way you did last week, or last month, or last year. Something has shifted along the way. Some kind of energy shift has happened, and so you have to remember that, wow, I'm not going to feel like this forever, and I think that's the biggest fear, is when you're feeling feelings, I'm going to feel like this forever. Not true. You're evidence of this right now. But there are reoccurring thoughts and there are reoccurring feelings you will continue to feel if you don't feel them out to completion. So that'll be another show, another time. I'll talk more about how to actually move through the feelings. Right now, we're just turning the light on. Thanks for listening.
So I just want to say, I hope that you got something out of this piece of the puzzle, which is feeling feelings. It's just, they exist. And there's a lot of work to be done here, a lot of work. So please visit my website for additional support, losingyourparents.org. If you'd like to leave me a message and you want some advice, leave me a voicemail 1-626-671-LISA. You can follow me on my blog, losingyourparents.org. Follow this radio show, blogtalkradio.com/losingyourparents. You can find me on YouTube, Losing Your Parents, and then Facebook.com/losingyourparents. And you can tweet me anytime at Losing Parents. My name is Lisa Snyder. You've been listening to Losing Your Parents International Radio, and remember, you got to feel to heal. Thanks so much.